A congressional hearing turned sharply confrontational as lawmakers pressed witnesses over gun violence policy, police funding, and the role of progressive advocacy groups. Opening his remarks, the lawmaker thanked the panel of witnesses and offered a personal message to Ms. Cook, acknowledging her testimony and expressing sympathy for what she and her family have endured. The questioning then shifted to Mr. Jackson, a former Biden White House official who previously served as Deputy Director for Gun Violence Prevention and as a special assistant to the president. The lawmaker confirmed Jackson's past and current affiliations with the Community Justice Action Fund, where Jackson served as executive director from 2021 to 2023 and now acts as an executive advisor. The exchange intensified when the lawmaker asked about the organization's funding sources, noting its fiscal sponsorship by the Tides advocacy group and pointing out that billionaire George Soros is among Tides donors.
Thanks to all the witnesses for being here. Ms. Cook, I want to say thank you especially to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for telling your story. And I'm sorry for what you and your family have had to endure. And it's powerful to have you here today. Thank you very much. I want to talk about some of these policies that have gotten to where we are today. Mr. Jackson, if I could just start with you. You were Deputy Director in the Biden White House for gun violence and a special assistant to the president. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You're also affiliated with the Community Justice Action Fund. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm also a survivor of gun violence.
You were their executive director. When was that? The Community Justice Action Fund.
2021 to 2023.
And you're affiliated with them now?
Yes, as executive advisor.
Okay. The Community Justice Action Fund is. Do you disclose your donors?
Yes.
All of the donors are public?
Yes.
You're funded by the Tides Advocacy Group, among others?
They're a fiscal sponsor.
This is right.
They
That would be
handle
a donor.
our HR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a George Soros funded group.
No.
He's one of the donors.
No.
He's a donor to the Tides Advocacy Group.
Yeah, that's our fiscal sponsor. So they handle our HR, our back office, our operations.
Great. Okay. Great. So in other words, I mean that's
we're one of 300 organizations.
right that they run. You are a
Yes, but
subset
we
of
pay
them.
Pay them to be a fiscal
Well,
sponsor.
you are a subset of that organization, which he helps to fund, right? Okay. All right. Just wanted to get a level set here. So let's just, I want to ask you about some of the policies that you've advocated because they're exactly what we see implemented in these blue cities, like defunding
Yes.
the police.
No.
Oh, indeed. Let
That's
me just
not- we
quote to you
advocate
from-
for
Wait, I
investing.
haven't asked a question yet. We'll get to, I've got a lot of questions, believe me, and I'll give you time. So let's talk about this report that you issued when you were executive director, a policymaker's playbook. And I'll ask you to enter it into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Great.
Without objection.
Thank you. In this report, you advocate, and I quote now, defunding the police because the long-term goal is fundamentally to reimagine how the state serves its citizens in the project of public safety. You go on to say police departments traumatize residents through a destructive cycle of racist over-policing, and the answer is not to add any more money to police budgets. Talk to me about, I mean, why is it that denying policing to the most vulnerable communities is a solution? I know that's what the blue cities are doing, but why is that a good idea?
Well, look, I in no way stand with defunding law enforcement. I mean,
That's what your report says.
Sheriff Mike Sheridan, who taught me how to drive when I was 16 years old.
Wait. Your report, when
And,
your executive director said you wanted to defund the police, do you renounce this report? Mr. Jackson, do you renounce the report that you authored as executive director? Here it is.
Get a second senator to bring up an op-ed or
This isn't an
documents
op-ed.
from
This is
before
your
my
report,
tenure.
a policymaker's playbook to reduce gun violence without policing communities.
Okay.
Community Justice Action Fund, copyright 2023, when you were executive director. Now you say you don't know anything about it. Now you say that you haven't heard of it, just like the Democrats who all of a sudden say, oh, we're all for the police. They've been advocating defunding them for years.
Okay, well, you can look at documents or you can look at
My
results.
question is, do you renounce this report now? You say you no longer agree with this.
And my answer is that I led the efforts to invest $42 billion in law enforcement.
You've advocated
if you wanna pull up
defunding
quote-
the police
if
as
you wanna
executive director of an organization that you still lead and are affiliated with.
Never see me advocate for that directly. What you see me
So
advocate for
what is this
is
then?
a comprehensive approach to reducing violence.
Right, the
And we've
comprehensive
recognized
approach is
that
defunding
law
the police,
enforcement is a
which is
part
what
of the
this
ecosystem
says.
the entire time.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives
Yes.
led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This
here.
is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
What is you say? You say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit.
Look, we are not going to discriminate against that. We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that wants to help us prevent violence.
What is two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
you wrote the
spirit of how that was
report.
written. But what I'm telling you is that what
is a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views.
Well,
you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
no, sir.
violence.
You're looking at somebody who's reading you your own words, and I'd like to hear an answer.
Programs.
Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it. It's all there in black and white, and your record is there in black and white, and it's a disgrace.
We reduced homicides by 31%, and as someone who's been shot and nearly killed, I take offense that you would think that the last 13
years you won't answer my
we're not focused on
that
reducing
you deny
violence.
your own words, and that you are leading this committee astray. And frankly, sir, your policies are absurd. They're absurd.
I don't think we're getting any place, so let's...
Jackson acknowledged Tide's role as a fiscal sponsor handling administrative operations, but disputed characterizations of direct influence. Attention then turned to policy positions outlined in a report published by the Community Justice Action Fund during Jackson's tenure as executive director. The lawmaker entered the document into the record, highlighting passages that explicitly advocate defunding the police and reimagining public safety without traditional law enforcement. Quoting directly from the report, the lawmaker read language describing police departments as perpetuating racist over-policing and arguing against increased police budgets. He challenged Jackson to explain why reducing police funding would help vulnerable communities, pointing to rising crime concerns in major U.S. cities. Jackson pushed back, stating that he does not support defunding law enforcement and emphasizing his role in helping secure $42 billion in funding for policing initiatives. However, the lawmaker repeatedly pressed him to renounce the report, noting that it was published under Jackson's leadership and remains publicly available. The confrontation escalated further when the lawmaker cited sections of the report calling for investment in alternative programs, including safe space initiatives, led by LGBTQ and two-spirit individuals. When asked to define the term two-spirit, Jackson appeared uncertain, prompting the lawmaker to accuse him of promoting policies he could not clearly explain. As the exchange grew more heated, the lawmaker accused Jackson of backtracking on his record and promoting what he described as ideological programs at the expense of public safety. Jackson responded by citing reductions in homicide rates and referencing his own experience as a survivor of gun violence, saying he took offense at the implication that his work lacked seriousness or results. The hearing ended with both sides talking past one another, the chairman attempting to move the proceedings forward, and tensions still high, underscoring the deep divisions in Washington over policing, public safety, and gun violence policy.